Yeah, what else, Ed?
In the wake of rumors surrounding... This is hilarious. In the wake of rumors surrounding possible activity with a big question mark, as we've discussed on this show, emanating from the Van Halen camp, Eddie Van Halen has granted a rare interview, ... to Golf magazine. I'm not kidding about this. EVH talks golf and nothing but golf in the one-page interview that appears in the February issue of the magazine. Apparently, he's been playing golf for over 30 years. He even shares an anecdote where he was at first denied entry into his golf club in the LA area due to being a, quote, long-haired rock and roller, but a bunch of members came to his defense, including Joe Pesci.
Oh, wow. Okay, interesting. Eddie Van Halen's not a long-haired rock and roller anymore. He's a short-haired rock and roller.
Well, now.
Eddie Van Halen hasn't had long hair in ages.
But that was back then. But
you know, I don't. When I'm here, as I've said in the past, when I come here to LA and I spend time with people that I know and friends in the business and run into people that I know, or you're hanging out somewhere and people start talking and what have you, you hear things, you know. And sometimes those things turn out to be true and sometimes just rumor. But I was talking to someone last night who told me they were at a Christmas party that Alex Van Halen was at. And that Alex Van Halen is, was in great spirits and was having a lot of fun. And they just had a great conversation. And I said to this person, I said, did you ask him if his band's going to do anything? And they're like, no, nobody would even go there. It's almost like, I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. It's like it's taboo to even bring up Van Halen potentially doing something, which I don't understand. Here's the other thing. When I was at the Forum on Wednesday night for the Chris Cornell tribute, when I walked in through the backstage, it was like literally like a who's who of people. It was the craziest thing. There's Miley Cyrus, there's Brad Pitt, there's Metallica, there's the Foo Fighters, there's Brandi Carlile. It was just, there's Alice in Chains, there's this. It was just like something out of a movie. It really was. But the one guy that buzzed by me that I wanted to talk to and introduce myself to more than anyone of all the sort of rock personalities back there was a guy by the name of Irving Azoff. Irving Azoff, who I don't know is he still doing his show? He was doing a monthly here on Volume.
It's periodic, every now and then.
Every once in a while, he does an hour here on Volume. Yep. But Irving Azoff, for those that don't know who he is one of the most powerful men in the music industry. And I don't know him, but I know what he looks like. And he literally walked right by me. He was giving someone a tour of the backstage of the Forum because he is involved in the Forum, and I was involved in Madison Square Garden. The company that owns the Forum and Madison Square Garden are aligned, or the same company or something like that. So he had a big, or still has a big role in the revitalization of the Forum out here, which is a historic venue. It's basically the West Coast equivalent to Madison Square Garden, and was run down, and they were doing church services in it for a while, and it was like not at all a marquee venue for live music. And then they put a bunch of money into it, remodeled it, and now it does exclusively live music. And it's a great historic venue that's been refurbished and is really like the desired play out here for the history of it and the size of it and all that. And they're building the brand new Rams football stadium right next to it as we speak. So anyway, I wanted to introduce myself to Mr. Azoff. I would love to speak to him one of these days. I'd love to have him on and talking about stuff. But the reason why I'm bringing all this up tied to Van Halen is he, at least last I knew, is the manager of Van Halen. So I wanted to ask him, hey, if anybody can get these guys out there doing stuff, making money, playing, and is there any truth? And I don't know if he would have revealed anything to me, but I would have loved to have talked to him about it and seen if he's even still actively working with them. But he would have been the one guy I could have maybe gotten some news from. And by the time he was past me, I realized it was him. I got caught into the vortex of talking to a million people, and I never saw him again the rest of the night. So I didn't get a chance to try to make that move. But who knows? I'm here for a few more days. You never know where you're going to run into people, so we'll see. But Van Halen's still radio silence on any official level of anything going on with them, even to the point that, Alex was at this Christmas party and was talking it up and having a great time with everybody, but never said anything about doing anything with Van Halen. And I can tell you, but that doesn't mean anything one way or the other. And the other thing, without getting into details or revealing sources, is that the issues and the disinterest in working with or doing anything with Sammy Hagar ever again from Van Halen is as high as it's ever been. Meaning, forget about it. If anything happens with Van Halen, anybody that thinks, and I think people mostly knew this, but anybody that thinks there's any play whatsoever for potential activity with Hagar, there are issues. We'll leave it at that. And I don't get in the middle of this stuff. I don't know what's real and what's not. I just know that there is still, from the Van Halen side, as strong as ever, a disinterest in dealing with or working with Sammy for reasons, rumors that I hear, but I don't know. I love Sammy, as everybody knows. He's a friend. I think he's a tremendous guy, but there's stuff that goes on that we don't know about, apparently. So anyway, anything we may or may not get from Van Halen is going to be either David Lee Roth or a unknown singer at this point, because there's nothing on the Hagar front. He just started a Twitter account. He's like, yeah, I'm getting up to speed on all this stuff. It's literally like coming out from under a rock if you completely checked out. Glenn in North Carolina. Hi, Glenn.
Hey, Eddie. Thanks for taking my call. I have a question and I have a comment. The question is, I've tried to find if David Gilmour is still touring or anything. I haven't had any luck finding any information. Do you know if is he still playing?
I haven't heard about David Gilmour doing any shows. A couple years ago, he did an album and a tour. He played Radio City Music Hall a few nights. But I haven't heard about him. An artist at that point, in his career, at this age, he still may do some shows and some tours and some records, and you'll hear about him if he does, but I haven't heard of anything announced, at least for America, anytime in the near future.
Okay.
But if your question, Glenn, is he still active and still doing things and still playing? Absolutely. A few years ago, not even 2 years ago, he put out a record and he played.
Okay, great. I didn't know that. So I'd love to see him. I saw Roger Waters, and it was one of the best concerts I've ever seen.
What was the Glenn? Hold on, Glenn. Ed, what was that record that Waters did? Gilmour did recently. Blue something. The cover was blue. See if you can look that up for Glenn, so he can. Glenn, Ed'll give you the name of the latest Gilmour record, because there was a record as well. What was your other thing about Waters?
Okay, great. I saw the Roger Waters tour, us and them, and it was one of the best concerts I ever saw. The sound, everything, the professionalism of the show would just blow your mind. It was unbelievable how good it was.
Somebody told me, and I hope this isn't the case, but somebody told me, thank you, Glenn, for the call, that Roger Waters runs a lot of tracks when he plays live. I really hope that's not the case,
man. What do you mean? He's got like 20 people on stage with him.
That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. Now, again, if he's running tracks for effects of videos and stuff, that doesn't count. I'm not talking about that. But I can't believe that would be the case. Exactly why Ed said. He's got all the resources, a million musicians, backing singers. That would be ridiculous if that was the case.
So getting back, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, what was the last Gilmour record?
Well, in 2015, Gilmour put out Rattle That Lock. And then he has a live record live at Pompeii from 2017.
Okay, well there you go, Glenn. I thought there's a record with like a bluish cover. I can't remember. I have it. I can't remember what that was called, but I could be wrong. I might be getting confused. By the way, Roger Waters saying that he would like to play the wall where Trump wants to build the wall. So I look at that as Waters offering to pitch in to help build the wall.
Well, remember what happens at the end of the wall. The wall comes down. Are you thinking of The Endless River, the Pink Floyd album? Is that what you're thinking of with David Gilmour?
Maybe I am.
Because that was 2014.
Yeah, maybe I am.